All right. The holiday release event is here. Let's walk through it. So, what I'm going to go over here today is the 12-day event, also the beta release and testing of the GTX browser with Wallet, and Tfuel staking on Gpool. First, I just wanted to thank everybody, well, the 9 of you that joined our private auction for the ThetaCon event. We earned just as much Tfuel in that 3-day period with the small private event as we did with our staking commissions, which is just crazy. So I appreciate all the support and look forward to the future support. Thank you very much. Okay, so here's the 12-day event. We're going to be doing 1,008 domains, which runs similar to how the Theta event ran, or the ThetaCon event ran, rather. What it'll be is it'll be hosted on tfuel.com. It's going to be 10-minute auctions, just like the event, and for you that watched, it was pretty exciting. The minimum is going to be 250 Tfuel for a minimum bid, and it's going to go the 11th, so December 11th through the 22nd. So that's 84 domains per day. That's going 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, and it'll start on Monday the 11th at 7 a.m. This is going to be open to the public. I know originally this event was you were going to have to hold a certain NFT, but we're leaving this open, so it's not going to be a private access. It's open to the public. So I also wanted to mention that the highest bidder for each day is going to get 10 minutes of whitelist minting during the open registration. I'll go into a little bit more about that later. NFTs. It's pretty fun for the holiday event. 2024 is the year of the dragon. A lot of different elements in these. So, all right. So Monday. This would be the schedule for Monday. Obviously, each day will have their list and follow the same times. If you want a full list, obviously we'll have it at tfuel.com for you to peruse through prior to the event. So it's going to be a lot of different categories, fruits, places, a whole slew of stuff. So for the 12-day event, it's going to run just like the private ThetaCon auction. And it's going to be that the Tfuel that is put into the auction, 10% gets burnt as G-Note. The 90% of the proceeds go to IL distribution, just like we did. This one's going to run just a little bit differently. What we did on the last one was at the end of the event, we distributed the IL, but this one, we're going to do it every night. This is going to help somebody that potentially doesn't have Tfuel to participate, and they have IL, so they get their IL distribution and allows them to potentially go in and join the auction. Or someone has IL, they join the auction, and they ended up with some of that Tfuel back to them. All obviously depends on your own personal situation as well as the results of the auction. The more people that participate, the more that goes to IL, and the more IL gets distributed. Now, we've added, as you can see from the last slide from the last event, that we're adding use cases, which is always great, and more will come. So keep in mind, like I said the first time, for the ThetaCon event, that keep these in mind. Well, these are all really great things to think of as you're doing, an auction. Think of what it has right now for use case. Beautiful artwork, Web2 redirects. These were live for the ThetaCon event. And now we've added GTX browser with wallet addresses and user identity with username and chat. I'll get into that a little bit more in depth as we go. So near term, right? Like we discussed last time, this is stuff being worked on underneath the red line, worked on, not a promise or a guarantee. We're working on it. Things that you can do now. GTX browser, that's the messaging addresses that will be, in added to the GTX browser as we go. It won't be in this release. User identity, your username in games, and obviously go more in depth as that comes. And then you see the long-term use cases. And this is where we get into the Web3 stuff with the redirects, username in other G World applications, property ownership. So long term, we're working on this. All right, GTX browser. So we're releasing the installer as well as the source code today for Linux and Windows, and the source code is today. For Mac, it should be available this week here. So, wallet. I want you guys all to keep in mind that this wallet is for testing. This is a beta wallet, okay? If you're going to put a private key into this, please make sure that you understand that this is still beta. I'm never going to come out and say, yes, we're 100% ready, go ahead and use it. It's use it as you feel comfortable. As bugs are found and as we move forward, keep in mind, these were forks with security patches up to current from two projects that have been well vetted out there, Chroma and MetaMask, both forked from appropriate points and security patches. Tfuel Unstoppables, you're going to be able to use your Tfuel Unstoppable in this wallet as a wallet ID for sending and receiving. Now, I want you to keep in mind here, there's going to be two network tabs when you go down, and I'm not going to get too into the weeds with this. There will be guides. So basically, what we've all found is that sometimes an exchange wasn't seeing a send transaction when you would send from a smart contract wallet, and that was because the Tfuel was coming in as a smart contract and not a send. So we wanted to make sure that native Theta was in the same form that everyone's been used to out of a nice little drop-down wallet in their browser. So we have the native Theta wallet, which will allow for staking and sending. You can send out of a smart contract, but for all of you that understand what we mean by the native, it's going to be great to be able to do this all out of a single wallet. And then the smart contract network. So there'll be just like normal network drop downs. All right, just to recap, there's going to be the bug bounty for the browser. So if you find corresponding bugs, you'll have a ability to submit those. As a side note, they're going to be using your .tfuel username. So you'll need one to be able to submit the form. I think everyone's going to start getting to understand that the .tfuel is going to be an identity as well for messaging and communicating. You will be able to message us with the bug you found, and we'll be able to know which wallet would potentially get the VRF. So the identity is attached to a place where the reward can go. Easy. All right. gpool.io is going to now have a chat box where if you have a Tfuel ID, you're able to chat in that chat box with your ID, and you'll be able to set that in your profile. You'll simply connect your wallet and pick from one of your unstoppables or your unstoppable, and then be able to tell us, do you want that ID to be used for the chat box or the leaderboard or both? It'll also open up the ability for you to change your avatar. So now everyone's going to have a G logo for their avatar until they show ownership of their account by getting their unstoppable associated with their account. And it'll be a way that everyone can communicate with each other. Tfuel.com will have a chat box as well. keep in mind that all is going to be managed under a single sign-in. You'll understand that more. You'll be able to openly mint any available word, number, letter, combination there, such. As spoken about a bit earlier, there's going to be a whitelist period. That's going to consist of 10-minute slots. So as we do open registration, you're going to be able to come in with that 10 minutes and just pick away at potential names that we couldn't think of for the auction, but you would really like to be able to obtain before anybody else is sort of battling you for the open registration. We're going to be giving away the first 12 10-minute slots to the highest bidders from D12 day event here. So the event that starts on the 11th, as somebody bids, the highest bidder on the 11th will end up with slot 1. And then obviously the 12th will end up with slot 2, and so on and so forth. So basically, there's going to be a period of time where you have exclusive access to the register list for 10 minutes. And for those who potentially want access to this whitelist event, there will be a way for you to bid on the remaining slots that will be open for that. Okay, Tfuel staking. Historic and current state. So many of you might know this, might not, that Gpool began being built in 2019. And then May 2020, Gpool opened and we ran off of donations. Very, very generous of everyone, and I appreciate everyone who donated to that cause. It helped pay some of the costs, so I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Then July 2021, Tfuel staking went live. The price of Tfuel was 40 cents, and we finally were able to charge a fee, 4% on the blockchain. And so at that time, the edge nodes, as they were running, were paying their costs. And then by December, 6 months later, the Tfuel price dropped too low and there were no jobs. So the edge network went up and we've been waiting for jobs ever since, and we're starting to see some now, which is good. But unfortunately, it's been, I guess we could call the edge network's been a test network for some years now. And with a test network, and why I would call it a test network is because it really wasn't doing anything. We were literally paying to heat up a room and then paying to cool that same room with servers. So anyways, it's good to see that, we're on the right track. However, we had to run the test edge network for a pretty huge loss, but it's one of those where you need it built before they will come. I know everyone's built it and they will come, but big corporations need to be able to test this. And we know we needed to run the hardware so that people could test it. That capital can be better deployed in other facets right now. We are working very diligent back here to make sure that we have plenty more use cases for everything that we're putting out. And those use cases help with NFT sales, which help with IL. We're spending 17 million Tfuel to get 2 million Tfuel. It doesn't make any mathematical sense. I'm shutting off Tfuel staking for now. I can't keep up the loss. It doesn't make any fiscal sense. As of Friday the 8th, you just simply start unstaking your Tfuel. We've got guides. It's not going to be any different. So the services that we're going to continue. Obviously, we're going to continue Theta staking, XPRT staking, and as a side note, we will be doing the validator bond here shortly. Okay, great news though. Theta is now going to be supporting their Elite Edge Node test network, which is great. I'm happy that they're going to be taking this over. For all those that are looking for where they're going to stake next, Theta is going to have an edge node for you. And if you are able to stake 500,000 Tfuel, they're going to give you an H100 GPU. That's amazing. As you're going to see the math, there's no way, heck, I can do that for the community. So I'm happy that they're going to do it. I bought close to 1,000 GPUs because we all started understanding that caching off of a simple server wasn't going to be some direction that we were going to be able to follow for some time now. So when looking at the GPUs that we had obtained and looking at what Theta is going to be offering, really these are the GPUs you need. They're just very expensive. Our hopes was always that we were going to get a bunch of rewards from edge caching and edge storage that just took a lot more time. And we were going to build up a robust GPU server build out. And I've bought close to 1,000 GPUs for it. They are not H100s. That was, yes, if everyone remembers that video from a few years ago, that was like the end goal, but certainly not out of the gate, and not after 2 years of no jobs. So, I'm just happy to see that this is going to continue on without me having to support it. So anyways, let's go over what the cost would be for us to be able to provide for you guys what Theta is able to do. We have a little over 4,000 edge nodes. This has 8 H100s in it. 550 servers is what we would need. So we would need $193 million to be able to do this. So, and that's not even the cost of the building, the electric, so on and so forth, the staff to run it. Anyhow, we're not doing that. And then to rent them per month, it's $1,432.80 from the best that I could find. So that would be $5.7 million a month is what we would have to pay. We can't do that. That's not possible. So we're just excited that it looks like by release 2, Theta is making mention that you're going to be able to go and potentially get these off of a cloud host. So I guess that means by release 2 that an edge node will be making over $1,500 or close to it to at least break even. So that sounds great. I'm happy to hear that it'll finally start paying for itself, and at that point I'd happily get back in and help people and start hosting. Maybe we can't participate until 3 because they have some partners that they've already partnered with, and that wasn't a message I had gotten. So I guess we would probably be in release 3. So let's see how it goes, and if it goes well, we'll turn the edge nodes back on. All right, so IL recap. IL distribution, the 2-week window for you to opt out is closed. We aren't opening it for this next 2 weeks. It's closed. I'm not sure if anybody's noticed it, but anyhow, you will be opted in. If you did not opt out, if you opted out, you're opted out. But if you didn't opt in, you haven't heard of this, you come in not knowing anything about this in a month, you're opted in. I'm sorry, we gave the opt-out period for as long as we felt we were comfortable doing. Now we just need everyone to opt in, and we need to close this IL out and move on with a chapter. So at this point, we've been able to give out 18.4% of IL since March if you opted in during the first window. IL distribution carries on. So every 2 weeks, we're going to distribute our staking commissions we get from Theta, staked Theta, our 4%, as well as the 12-day event. We're going to be handing out all of that IL, and that's going to be distributed evenly, obviously, every night, like I was saying. there's also going to be obviously many more ways that IL will be distributed. All right, so very excited about the GTX browser. Theta, that we all wholeheartedly believe in is going to be a major big deal, is going to need unstoppable tools. And one of those unstoppable tools is an unstoppable browser. We felt it was important that we take open source code and fork it, make it more Theta community driven, so that at some point when edge storage becomes a real thing and we can actually put stuff up into edge storage and it's all distributed, what will end up happening is that we'll have the GTX browser in that unstoppable cloud for people to download and browse that unstoppable cloud with Web3 domains. So we need unstoppable domains and unstoppable wallets. And also, I'm excited about this event. I look forward to it. It's going to be really exciting, I think. So, all right, guys, talk to you in the next one.